Daniel Archer sat in his Denver apartment on a cold February evening in 2024, scrolling through his phone with the kind of resignation that comes from 3 years of loneliness. At 42, he worked as a software engineer for a tech startup, earning a comfortable salary but living an increasingly hollow life. His divorce from Rebecca had been finalized in 2021, ending a 12-year marriage that had slowly deteriorated into polite indifference. She hadn't cheated or betrayed him in any dramatic fashion. They had simply grown apart, two people who woke up one day and realized they were roommates rather than partners. The split was amicable, civilized, and utterly devastating. His older sister, Caroline, had been pushing him to start dating again for months. "Danny, you're rotting away in that apartment. You're 42, not 82. Get out there, meet someone, do literally anything besides ordering takeout and binge-watching sci-fi shows alone every night." Daniel resisted for 2 years, convinced that online dating was superficial and desperate. But on that particular February night, after finishing another mediocre Thai dinner by himself while half-watching Blade Runner for the 7th time, something shifted. He downloaded an app called Global Connect, thinking that if he was going to expose himself to rejection, he might as well think beyond Colorado. He created a profile using 3 photos, one from Caroline's wedding, one from a company retreat in Aspen, and a recent selfie where he tried to look confident but mostly looked tired. His bio read, "Software engineer from Denver. Love hiking, classic films, and honest conversation. Looking for something real, not just someone to pass the time." He scrolled through profiles, mostly women from Eastern Europe and South America. Some seemed too young, others too polished, and many felt performative. He was about to delete the app when he saw her. Sofia Castellanos, 38, Buenos Aires, Argentina, freelance architect. Her profile photo showed warm brown eyes, an intelligent smile, dark hair pulled into a loose bun, and an elegance that seemed effortless. Her bio was simple. "I believe great design starts with understanding what people truly need." Seeking someone who values depth over surface, honesty over pretense. Something about her words resonated deeply. Daniel swiped right, expecting nothing. Match. His heart jumped. She had swiped right too. He stared at the screen for several minutes before typing, "Hi Sophia, I'm Daniel from Denver. Your profile stood out, not just because you're beautiful, but because your words felt genuine. I'd love to know more about you if you're open to talking." 23 minutes later, his phone dinged. "Hello, Daniel. Thank you for your kindness. I value sincerity above all else. Tell me, what made you join an international app? Most Americans seem to prefer staying close to home." Daniel smiled at her directness and typed back, "Because staying close to home hasn't worked out well for me. Sometimes you need to look beyond familiar territory to find something real." Her response came quickly. "I understand that feeling completely." From February through May 2024, they messaged every single day, morning and night. Daniel woke up to messages from Sophia. The time difference meant her evenings were his mornings, and her mornings were his nights. They adapted, finding rhythms that worked. Sophia told him about growing up in Buenos Aires, studying architecture at the University of Buenos Aires, and her career designing sustainable residential buildings. She lived alone in the Palermo neighborhood, describing tree-lined streets, European-style architecture, bookstores that stayed open until midnight, and cafes where she drank cortados while sketching building concepts. Daniel told her about Denver, about the Rocky Mountains visible from his office window, about his divorce, about feeling invisible in a city full of ambitious tech workers all chasing the same dream. Sophia listened. Truly listened. Her responses weren't generic sympathy. They were thoughtful, insightful, encouraging him to examine his own feelings more honestly. "Daniel, do you think you've been hiding?" she asked one night via text, using work and routine to avoid dealing with your own emotions. He had never thought about it that way. Maybe. It's easier to stay busy than to sit with yourself. But being busy isn't the same as being alive. Real life requires vulnerability. It requires risk. Her words struck him powerfully. She was absolutely right. By May 2024, they transitioned to video calls. Every night at 9 p.m. Denver time, 3 a.m. Buenos Aires time, Sophia would position her laptop to show her face and shoulders. Behind her, Daniel could see bookshelves filled with architecture books, framed sketches of building designs, a small window with sheer white curtains, and the warm glow of a desk lamp. Sophia was even more captivating on video. Her laugh was infectious, her expressions animated when discussing Borges, Cortázar, or the philosophy behind sustainable urban design. They talked about everything: Argentine politics, American culture, the meaning of happiness, the nature of connection in a digital age. One night in June, Daniel asked, "Sophia, what do you really want from life? What matters most to you?" She considered carefully before answering, "I want to be seen as a whole person, not as someone's expectation or projection. I want someone who looks at me and sees Sophia, not what they imagine I should be." Daniel understood that deeply. That's exactly what I want too, to be enough just as I am. Sophia's eyes softened on screen. "You are enough, Daniel. Please believe that." He believed her. Perhaps for the first time in years, July 2024 brought declarations neither had planned. It started subtly. "I was thinking about you today. You make me feel understood. I'm grateful I found you." Daniel reciprocated. "Talking to you is the best part of my day. I don't know what I did to deserve you." Then one humid July night, with fireworks from a neighborhood celebration echoing outside his window, Sophia looked directly into the camera. "Daniel, I love you. I know we haven't met in person. I know this might seem fast, but I feel this deeply. I love you." Daniel's throat tightened. The words he had been afraid to say hovered between them, separated by 8,000 miles and a computer screen. "I love you too, Sophia. I really do." She cried, tears of happiness streaming down her face. "I never thought I'd hear those words again. Never thought someone would see me this way." Daniel didn't understand why she would say that. She was brilliant, accomplished, beautiful. Any man would be fortunate to have her. But he didn't question it. He simply accepted that somehow, miraculously, they had found each other across an ocean. August through October 2024 deepened everything. They discussed meeting in person. Sophia suggested something unexpected. "Why don't you come to Buenos Aires, but make it an adventure? Travel through different countries, experience different cultures, and end here with me. I want you to arrive having truly lived, not just having taken a direct flight." Daniel loved the idea immediately. He had always wanted to travel, but never had the courage or companion to do it. Over several weeks, they planned an ambitious route, 13 countries across 3 continents, ending in Argentina. The itinerary took shape, starting in Portugal, then Spain, Morocco, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, India, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, New Zealand, Chile, Peru, and finally Argentina. Daniel would take a month off work, using accumulated vacation time and negotiating remote work for another month. Sophia helped research each stop, suggesting places to visit, cultural experiences not to miss, ways to make the journey meaningful rather than just a checklist of destinations. As November approached and Daniel finalized bookings, Sophia grew increasingly anxious. What if it's different when we meet? What if the connection isn't the same in person? Daniel reassured her constantly. "Sophia, I fell in love with who you are, your mind, your heart, your soul. That won't change when we're in the same room." But Sophia went quiet sometimes, and Daniel noticed. He assumed it was normal nervousness. He didn't know she was hiding something crucial, something about herself that she had concealed, not through deception, but through overwhelming fear of rejection. 3954 Daniel departed Denver on November 10, 2024. His journey began in Lisbon, Portugal, where he spent 3 days wandering through the Alfama district, riding the iconic yellow trams and eating pastel de nata while overlooking the Tagus River. He sent Sofia photos and voice messages throughout, sharing every detail. She responded enthusiastically, asking questions, making suggestions, living vicariously through his adventure. From Lisbon, he traveled to Barcelona, where Gaudi's architecture left him awestruck. Sofia, as an architect herself, walked him through design principles via video call while he stood inside the Sagrada Familia. Navone aimed at the impossible geometry of the ceiling. Morocco came next. Daniel landed in Marrakesh and immediately felt overwhelmed by the sensory intensity, the call to prayer echoing across the Medina, the smell of spices and grilled meat in Jamar El Fna Square, vendors selling everything from leather goods to traditional lanterns. He hired a guide named Youssef, who took him through the souks, explaining the cultural significance of bargaining, the history of the Saadian tombs, and the importance of hospitality in Moroccan culture. Daniel drank mint tea with Youssef's family, an honor that felt profound and humbling. Egypt was transformative. Standing before the pyramids of Giza, Daniel felt the weight of human history in a way he never had before. He took a Nile cruise from Luxor to Aswan, visited the Valley of the Kings, and marveled at the Temple of Karnak. Each night he video-called Sofia, sharing his experiences. She seemed increasingly distant, distracted. "Is everything okay?" Daniel asked one night. "You seem worried." "I'm fine," she replied too quickly. "Just nervous about you traveling alone. Be careful." He assumed she was being protective. The United Arab Emirates presented a stark contrast. Dubai's hyper-modernity felt almost surreal after Egypt's ancient monuments. Daniel stayed in a modest hotel in Deira rather than the glitzy marina area, preferring to experience the city's older commercial districts where South Asian and Arab communities mixed. He visited the Spice Souk, attended Friday prayers at Jumeirah Mosque as a respectful observer after confirming non-Muslims were welcome, and ate Emirati breakfast at a local cafe. The city's extremes fascinated him. Traditional Abras crossing Dubai Creek, while the Burj Khalifa pierced the sky in the distance. India was chaotic and beautiful. Daniel spent 5 days in Rajasthan, starting in Jaipur, where the Pink City's forts and palaces overwhelmed him with color and history. He navigated crowded streets filled with motorcycles, cows, street vendors, and vibrant saris. A local woman named Priya, who ran a homestay, taught him about Indian hospitality, insisting he eat home-cooked meals and explaining the cultural importance of treating guests as manifestations of the divine. The experience moved him deeply. Thailand offered a different pace. Bangkok's energy thrilled him, the floating markets, the grand palaces' golden spires, street food that exploded with flavor. He took a train north to Chiang Mai, where he participated in a monk chat at a temple, learning about Buddhist philosophy and meditation. The monk's calm wisdom stayed with him. Vietnam followed. Hanoi's Old Quarter, Ha Long Bay's limestone casts, the Mekong Delta's waterways. Each place added layers to his understanding of the world beyond his American bubble. Australia felt surprisingly familiar, yet distinctly different. Sydney's harbour, the Opera House, the laid-back coastal culture. Daniel spent time with a couple he met at a hostel, Sarah and Tom, who took him surfing at Bondi Beach despite his complete lack of skill. New Zealand's landscape stunned him. Milford Sound's fjords, Queenstown's mountains, the surreal beauty of the Tongariro crossing. He hiked, camped, and felt more alive than he had in years. South America brought him closer to Sofia. Chile's Atacama Desert, the driest place on Earth, offered night skies so clear that Daniel could see the Milky Way with his naked eyes. Peru came next. Cusco's altitude left him breathless, but Machu Picchu's mystical ruins were worth every difficult breath. He stood among the ancient stones, thinking about how far he had come. not just geographically, but emotionally. 31 days after leaving Denver, having crossed 13 countries, Daniel boarded a bus from Cusco to Buenos Aires, the final leg of his journey. Throughout the entire trip, Sophia had tried multiple times to tell him. The words formed, then dissolved. The fear was too great. What if Daniel left? What if he saw her wheelchair and walked away like others had? So she remained silent, hoping, praying that the connection they had built would be strong enough to withstand reality. December 11th, 2024, 11 p.m. local time. Ministro Pistarini International Airport, Buenos Aires. Daniel's bus had arrived hours earlier, and he had taken a taxi to the airport area hotel where he showered, changed, and prepared himself mentally. Sophia insisted on picking him up from the hotel rather than having him navigate to her apartment alone on his first night in the city. He waited in the lobby, heart pounding, palms sweating. After 31 days of travel, after 13 countries, after 9 months of falling in love, this was it. A car pulled up outside. Through the glass doors, Daniel saw a white Honda Civic with accessible modifications. The driver's door opened and his breath caught. Sophia maneuvered a wheelchair from the driver's seat with practiced efficiency, transferring smoothly before wheeling toward the entrance. She wore a dark blue dress, her hair down over her shoulders, her face beautiful and radiant with a nervous smile. But she was in a wheelchair. A wheelchair! Daniel's smile froze. His stomach dropped like a cut elevator cable. Sophia saw it instantly, the exact moment his face changed, shock and confusion replacing anticipation. Her smile vanished. Her eyes filled with hurt, but she kept moving forward, wheeling through the automatic doors. She stopped directly in front of him, looking up, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hi, Daniel. It's me, Sophia." Daniel stammered, his brain short-circuiting. "Hey, wow, you're here. You're really here." An awkward pause, dense and suffocating. He bent down stiffly, hugged her mechanically, his arms uncertain, his entire body rigid with discomfort. She pulled away quickly, tears threatening to fall. "I should have told you. I know. I'm sorry. I was afraid you wouldn't come if you knew." Daniel didn't know what to say. His mind spun violently. 9 months of falling in love, and she had hidden this fundamental fact about herself. "Let's get your bag from the taxi," Sophia said, her voice trembling, desperately trying to maintain composure. They moved in complete silence. Daniel's thoughts screamed inside his head. Why didn't she tell me? Why did she lie? I traveled through 13 countries, 31 days, thousands of dollars. For this? He felt betrayed, deceived, angry, but also guilty because part of him recognized he was being shallow, judging her for something beyond her control. Yet he couldn't help it. This wasn't what he expected. This wasn't what he had imagined for 9 months. 11:47 p.m. Sophia's adapted vehicle moved through Buenos Aires traffic. She drove using hand controls, navigating the wide avenues with confidence. Daniel sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window at the illuminated city. Jacaranda trees lining the streets, late-night cafes still open, couples walking arm in arm. The obelisco rose in the distance, iconic and indifferent to the human drama unfolding in the white Honda. Sophia tried breaking the silence. "How was Peru? Did you make it to Machu Picchu?" "Yeah, it was incredible." "Are you hungry? We could stop somewhere. There's a great parrilla still open that serves the best asado in Palermo." "I'm fine. Daniel, please say something." He turned to her, his voice sharper than intended. "What do you want me to say, Sophia?" She recoiled as if slapped. "I want you to say what you're thinking, because I can see it written all over your face. You're disappointed." Daniel looked away. "I'm not disappointed." "Yes, you are. And I understand. I really do. I should have told you. I just didn't know how. Every time I tried, fear stopped me." Because this always happens. Men see the wheelchair and they leave every single time. Her voice broke. I thought maybe if you fell in love with me first, with who I am inside, then maybe you could see past this. Daniel stayed silent, processing. Sophia wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, keeping the other on the steering wheel. I'm sorry I wasted your time and money. If you want to go back to the hotel now, I'll take you. No hard feelings. Michael didn't respond. He honestly didn't know what he wanted. 12:34 a.m., Hotel Emperador, Avenida Libertador. Sophia pulled up in front of a mid-range hotel in the Retiro neighborhood. This is where your reservation is. I thought you'd want your own space. Daniel nodded mechanically. Yeah, thank you. He got out, retrieved his backpack from the trunk. Sophia rolled down her window, looking at him standing on the sidewalk. Daniel, I meant it. If you want to leave Buenos Aires, if you want to fly home tomorrow, I understand completely. But if you want to stay, if you're willing to give this a chance, give us a chance. I'll be at my apartment. I'll text you the address. The choice is entirely yours. She drove away, disappearing into Buenos Aires traffic. Daniel stood there watching the taillights fade, feeling confused, guilty, frustrated, trapped. December 12th, 2024, 2:17 a.m., Hotel Emperador, room 308. Daniel hadn't unpacked, hadn't slept, just sat on the edge of the bed staring at the wall. His phone vibrated. Message from Caroline. Did you land? How is she? Daniel stared at the message. How was she? Brilliant, beautiful, kind, and in a wheelchair. He didn't respond. Another message arrived, this time from Sophia. I know you're probably thinking about booking the next flight home. I don't blame you. But I want you to know that the person you fell in love with these past 9 months is really me. My disability doesn't change my heart. It doesn't change how much I love you. I understand if this is too much, but I hope you'll at least give me a chance to show you I'm still the same Sophia you've been talking to all this time. Daniel read it 3 times. She was right. The person he fell in love with, her intelligence, her humor, her vulnerability, that was real. But he couldn't reconcile the mental image he had constructed with the reality he had just encountered. He put the phone down, decided to shower, clear his mind. 3:06 a.m. Daniel stood in front of the bathroom mirror, shirtless, examining himself under the harsh hotel lighting. 42 years old, grey hair at the temples, receding hairline, a belly that hung slightly over his belt. Stretch marks, age spots scattered across his shoulders. He wasn't attractive by conventional standards, yet Sophia had fallen in love with him without ever seeing his body, without knowing the physical imperfections he carried. She heard his voice, heard his stories, connected with his mind and heart, and loved him. And he had judged her immediately, rejected her internally for something completely beyond her control. He thought about Rebecca, his ex-wife, who had grown distant not because of any dramatic flaw, but simply because they stopped seeing each other. And now he was doing something even worse to Sophia, rejecting her based purely on physical difference. The hypocrisy hit him like a physical blow. He sat on the edge of the bathtub, head in his hands. What kind of man was he? 4:33 a.m. Daniel lay in bed, unable to sleep, staring at the ceiling. His phone vibrated again. Another message from Sophia. I won't message you anymore. I just wanted to thank you for coming all this way. Even though it didn't work out as we hoped, at least I got to meet you in person. At least I got to see your face. That's more than I expected. I hope you have a safe trip home whenever you decide to leave. And I hope you find what you're looking for, Daniel. You deserve to be happy. Daniel's chest tightened painfully. She was letting him go with grace, with dignity, without begging or blaming, just acceptance. And somehow that made everything worse. He typed, deleted, typed again, deleted again. Finally he decided, Sophia, I'm sorry. I need time to process this. Can we meet tomorrow, just to talk, face to face? 3 dots appeared immediately. Of course. I'll be here whenever you're ready. December 12th, 2024, 8:41 a.m. Daniel woke after maybe 2 hours of restless sleep. He called Caroline. She answered on the second ring. Danny? How's Buenos Aires? Did you meet her? Yeah, I met her. And? There was a long pause. She's in a wheelchair, Caroline. She didn't tell me. Silence, then carefully. And she didn't mention this before? No. She was afraid I wouldn't come. Caroline exhaled slowly. Well, she was probably right. You're sitting in a hotel room right now, questioning everything instead of being with her, aren't you? Daniel felt irritation rising. What's that supposed to mean? It means you loved her before you met her, right? Yes. And now that you've met her, is she the same person? Yes. But then what's the real problem here, Danny? Her wheelchair, or your ego? Daniel felt defensive anger surging. It's not about ego, isn't it? You're worried about what people will think, about how it looks walking down the street with her, about whether you can introduce her to colleagues without feeling self-conscious. That's ego, Danny. And if you let that destroy this, you're a fool, and you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Caroline hung up. Daniel stared at the phone, angry, but knowing his sister was absolutely right. He was worried about perception, about judgment, about his own insecurity, and that realization made him feel even worse. 10:23 a.m. Danielle texted Sophia, "Can I see you today, at your apartment? I want to spend time together, really together." Her response came instantly. "Yes, I'll send you the address now." 11:32 a.m. Palermo neighborhood. Tree-lined streets with jacarandas in full bloom. European-style buildings painted in warm pastels. Sidewalk cafes with outdoor seating. The smell of fresh coffee and media lunas. Sophia's building was a classic Porteño structure. 5 stories with wrought iron balconies and Art Nouveau details. Daniel took the elevator to the 4th floor, his heart pounding. He knocked. Sophia opened the door immediately, as if she had been waiting right there. She wore simple jeans and a white linen shirt, hair pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup. She looked beautiful, vulnerable, and scared. "Hi," Daniel said. "Hi, please come in." Her apartment was small but charming, filled with architectural models, framed blueprints, bookshelves crammed with design texts in Spanish and English, photographs of Argentine landscapes. A small balcony overlooked the street. Everything was carefully arranged at accessible heights, the kitchen counters lowered, light switches positioned thoughtfully. A home designed for her body rather than fighting against it. They sat, Daniel on the sofa, Sophia in her wheelchair facing him, maintaining distance, maintaining safety. "Thank you for coming," Sophia said softly. "I know this is difficult, but I want you to understand I'm still me. The woman you talked to every night for 9 months. The woman who made you laugh, who listened to you, who loves you. I'm still her, Daniel." He nodded slowly. "I know. I just need to process everything. I need time. I understand completely. Take the time you need." They talked for hours, really talked. About her disability, her life, his disappointment, his guilt, his confusion. Sophia told him everything. Growing up in Buenos Aires with spinal muscular atrophy wasn't easy. "I've used a wheelchair since I was 14. A car accident damaged my spine. Doctors said I might never walk again, and they were right. People see the wheelchair first, always. They see limitation, pity, something broken. They don't see me. I've had relationships, some, but they never last. Men either fetishize me, treat me like an exotic curiosity to experiment with, or they're embarrassed to be seen with me in public. Either way, I'm not really a person to them." Her voice wavered. "That's why I didn't tell you, Daniel. Because for the first time in my life, someone saw me, really saw me, my thoughts, my ideas, my heart, and I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to lose you." Daniel's throat tightened. "You haven't lost me, Sophia." She looked at him with tears in her eyes. Haven't I? You can barely look at me without discomfort. You're sitting across the room instead of beside me. You're uncomfortable. I can feel it. Michael wanted to deny it but couldn't. She was absolutely right. He was uncomfortable. Not with her personality or intelligence, but with the reality of being with someone in a wheelchair. I'm trying, Sophia. I really am. I just need time to adjust. Sophia nodded, wiping her eyes. I understand. But Daniel, I need you to be completely honest with me. If you can't do this, if it's too much, tell me now. Don't drag this out. Don't give me false hope. Daniel looked at her carefully, really looked. Her face was beautiful, expressive, kind. Her eyes held intelligence and depth. Everything that made him fall in love was still there, undeniably present. But the wheelchair, he couldn't stop seeing it, couldn't stop it from dominating his perception. I don't know, he admitted honestly. I want to say yes. I want to say I can do this, but I don't know if I can. Sophia straightened in her chair. Then maybe you should go back to the hotel, think about it carefully, and when you have a definitive answer, let me know. But Daniel, please understand I'm not angry. I'm just tired. So tired of hoping someone will see past this. Tired of being disappointed. So please go, and when you're ready to give me a real answer, I'll be here. Daniel left, walked through the sunny Buenos Aires afternoon, caught a taxi back to the hotel, feeling guilty, confused, and deeply ashamed of himself. That evening he wandered through Palermo, ended up at a small bookstore cafe. An elderly man sitting nearby noticed his distress. Woman troubles. Daniel nodded. Always is, the man said with a knowing smile. His name was Ernesto, a retired literature professor. Daniel told him everything. When Daniel finished, Ernesto leaned back thoughtfully. Let me ask you something, my friend. Close your eyes and think about her. Not what you saw at the airport, but who she is. What do you feel? Daniel closed his eyes, thought about Sophia, her laugh during video calls, her voice saying his name, the way she challenged his thinking, the way she made him feel understood, valued, seen. I feel happy, he admitted quietly. Then open your eyes. What do you see? Daniel opened his eyes. I see reality. I see complications. I see stares, judgment, difficulty. Ernesto nodded. Life is full of complications, friend. Every relationship has them. But when you close your eyes and think of her, you feel happy. That's what matters. That's worth fighting for. He looked directly at Daniel. So ask yourself, is this woman worth fighting for? Or will you let fear and pride steal your happiness? Daniel sat there long after Ernesto left, thinking deeply. The next morning, December 13th, he texted Sophia. Can I see you again? I want to try this properly. No more distance, no more hesitation. I want to know you, the real you, in person. Her response came immediately. Yes, come over. They spent the next week together, inseparable. Daniel pushed past his discomfort, stopped noticing the wheelchair, started seeing only Sophia. They explored Buenos Aires, the colorful houses of La Boca, tango shows in San Telmo, bookstores along Avenida Corrientes, dinners at Perilla's, where they shared asado and Malbec. Daniel met her friends, protective but welcoming. Her best friend Lucia pulled him aside one night. Sophia has been hurt many times by men who couldn't see past her wheelchair. If you're not serious about this, please leave now. Don't give her hope if you're going to destroy it later. Daniel looked her in the eyes. I'm serious. I love her. I'm not going anywhere. Lucia studied him carefully, then nodded. Good. She deserves to be happy. She deserves someone who sees her completely. December 20th, 2024. Daniel made a decision that had been forming for days. He stopped Sophia as they walked through a plaza in Recoleta. Come back to Denver with me. Sophia blinked, surprised. What? Come to Denver, not permanently, just visit. 2 weeks, maybe 3. Meet Caroline. See my life. See if you can imagine yourself there. Because I don't want to go back without you, Sophia. I don't want another long-distance relationship. I want to figure out how we build a real life together." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "Daniel, are you sure? This is fast. I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything. I love you, not despite your wheelchair, not ignoring it, just loving all of you, exactly as you are. And I want to build something real with you." Sophia cried, nodded, kissed him. Yes, I'll come." 6 months later, June 2025, Daniel and Sophia married in a small ceremony in Denver with 50 guests overlooking the Rocky Mountains. Daniel had negotiated permanent remote work, splitting time between Denver and Buenos Aires. They found an accessible apartment together near Wash Park, building a life that spanned 2 continents. As they exchanged vows, Daniel looked at Sophia and saw not her wheelchair, not her difference, but simply the woman he loved. The woman who taught him that real love requires courage, demands that we see beyond our own limitations and prejudices, asks us to choose vulnerability over safety. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Daniel leaned down, Sophia reached up, and they met in the middle, kissing as husband and wife. The small gathering erupted in applause. That night at the reception, Carolyn raised her glass. To Daniel and Sophia. "May your love always have courage through whatever challenges life brings." Everyone drank, everyone celebrated. Daniel held Sophia, dancing slowly under string lights to acoustic guitar, surrounded by family and friends. "I love you," he whispered. "Thank you for not giving up on me." "I love you too," Sophia whispered back. "Thank you for learning to see." Both had been broken in different ways, both scarred by rejection and disappointment. But together they found wholeness, not by fixing each other, but by accepting each other completely, with courage, with honesty, and that made all the difference.